Alright guys, hello and welcome to another loot table video. This is all the loot that we got from 50 Crimson Temples with my new strategy, and yes, this down here is an Apothecary, which is kind of weird to put into this now, but yeah, there's a lot to talk about. First of all, I want to go over the strategy. I did not really sort the tab, I did not really feel the need to. I'm just gonna show you the loot table in PoE stack later. These don't really count. Most of the uniques that are not worth anything I already sold. But yeah, I can just vendor these. It's whatever, most of them I already vendored. But I can promise this is highly liquid loot table. You can sell all of this very easily, except from a couple of these uniques that are still in here. But yeah, I was a bit lazy, but this is how it looks right now. And most of these chaos orbs are from compass sales. One is from like a Beltimber blade I sold for 20C. Otherwise, we still have some charged compasses in here for sale. I need to size that I need to lower a bit in price, I think, overall. But yeah, before we start talking about this, let's have a look at what the strategy is actually about and how I am running these Crimson Temples at the moment for a very decent amount of loot, I would say. Alright, so before we start, let's get this notepad up here. There's really a lot to talk about, and I wanted to give a little bit of a assist here so you can read along how the strategy is run. So this is my atlas tree. Let's quickly have a look without the notepad. As you can see, we are basically not running any content that takes any brain cells. Alright, that's very important to note. If you don't want brain cell gaming, then this is the right strategy for you. If you wanted to syndicate or whatever, this is not the right strategy for you. This is zoom, 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 no think, and big loot. Alright, so what exactly are we doing here? One of the most important things here in the strategy, we definitely want to have 7th gate, because we're gonna run Domination. This is what you should unlock. Then what you should do is get all shrine nodes. You don't have to get all shrine nodes, to be honest. You can do this without shrines if you are super strong and whatever. But for my build, this is perfect because I'm running a gull, right? So you can see in my other videos if you want to see how the build is done. This is really fast build, really hard blast. I think one of the, I think the quickest mapper I have ever created. To be fair, because you just feel like you have a headhunter, only in better. And it is just really good for this strategy overall. Also, I do believe that with raw quantity or for raw pack size, shrines are really good and really underrated, especially if you get Domination on your map device. Next thing, get all essence nodes. You can get these two if you want to. I decided to not get these two, but they are not particularly bad or anything. But also not particularly good, right? It is whatever. Sometimes you can probably get something really good out of it. Other thing is get all the Torment nodes. Leave out Speaker of the Dead. This is really unnecessary. And it's not really, I mean, I think you need to do a specific strategy if you want to run this. This could be very good. I need to test out in the future. I think Ben has a video about this, where he's basically quant farming with this on Crimsons in hardcore. But for our means, we don't need it. Then get growing hordes. So, I mean, basically, we also don't want brain power to use here. We just want to get the pack size, no specific scarabs that give us any benefit in the map. Like, for example, what we could do, or what you could do, is you could unallocate this and get more tormented spirits and do other stuff in your map. But for simplicity, I just wanted to run this and test this out. So this is why I ran, basically why I ran the strategy as well. I just wanted to test out how good is growing hordes, how much can you make with this. And overall, it's also very convenient, right? Then ideally, what I did not get and just realized, get enduring influence. I did not get this, but you should get this. I still have a couple points left, as you can see. I was too lazy to fill out on my atlas yet. I'm still missing out some unique maps, but this is definitely something you should get, because it will basically reduce your cost by 33% from your sextants, and you can also sell the sextants that you gotta sell for more. Get at least, which is really important, get at least shaping the world. If you want to sustain your maps, get shaping the worlds and get shaping the skies over here. Don't miss out on these. Like, your sustain is gonna be, it's gonna be enough, but it's close, right? And then also get exarch nodes. I mean, this isn't the no-brainer. This is what you should always do. Don't run Ether, run exarch. And yes, you can get these 2 nodes as well if you want to. I did not go for them because I'm pretty point starved. But there's definitely ways how you can get them, especially if you leave out subtle manipulation. This is one that you can definitely leave out, but we will get to this later when we're talking about the costs. So rolling maps, basically, or pretty much what we do is alch and go. We are not looking for any pack size thresholds or anything. Just alch and go, run anything you can run, and reroll everything that you can't run. 3 rusted scarabs. I don't think it's worth it doing higher level scarabs. They are just, I mean, double or 9 times as expensive, and they don't give enough pack size, right? So the cost efficiency is getting pretty low. Just run rusted. And yeah, next thing is run domination. What you can do is you can run essence, but from my experience, I did 50 maps now with domination only, but from experience before, it did not feel as good as just running dominations and get all the shrine buffs and then juice through the map. Rolling sextants, pretty straightforward as well. Reroll everything or anything that is not giving pack size or is otherwise useless, right? So if we look at this, this is good, this is good, this is good. I mean, they are probably all good because I just wrote the map. This is already a little bit borderline, but this can drop 6lings, right? But anything that is like super mediocre or is not within our strategy, like additional abysses, and that is not worth anything, right? I would say at least 20C plus, otherwise not worth our time to get the compass out. Just re-roll it. If you are not sure, grab it out and check with Awakened PoE trade if it's above 20C. And you will be surprised how good you can sustain or how much extra money you can make from selling enraged strongboxes and whatnot, because these things are really fucking important, really fucking expensive at the moment. Because it seems like people are starting to target farm apothecaries, and they are pretty much all competing for these kind of valuable compasses in one way or another. So next thing is, how are we gonna run the map? I'm gonna upload another showcase video. I'm not really happy with the ones I did, but it's basically showing what I'm doing. You don't go into the wildwood. I think it's a time waste. Yes, you can find something really valuable in there. There's some charms and whatnot, but overall I think it's just a massive time waste, and if you are unlucky, you will brick your map, or you will brick your essences, and they will be almost unkillable or unkillable, and your map will take 10 minutes plus. If you are lucky. If you are unlucky, you won't be able to finish it, or you have to skip the essence monsters completely. If you have a build with like 40 mil DPS, go for it. I still don't know if it's really worth it, especially with this strat. If you go into Wildwoods, I think, or it feels just like a massive time waste. Maybe I'm coping here. I haven't watched too much other content of other YouTubers or of other content creators, like considering all the big guys, what they think about how the loot is increasing. But I feel like it is in no relation to how strong the mobs get and how one-shotty. And maybe I'm coping again and my character is just bad, but I highly doubt that. I think my character is very well-rounded. And if you get essence monsters with Torment on it and with all the Wildwood mods, you will get wrecked. Believe me, you will get wrecked. It is not really worth it. Otherwise, run straight to the shrines. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. We wanna look for a shrine as quickly as possible, and then ideally you are lucky, or not really lucky. I mean, a lot of the times it happens. Most of the time within the second shrine, we get double shrine buffs, and you want to have either an echo shrine on yourself or a speed shrine, and then you run directly straight to the boss. The boss is not really a problem overall, especially with my character. But yeah, run to the boss so you get the altar rewards replaced and you don't get boss rewards anymore. And don't ever click player rewards. It is not worth it even reading them. I mean, you can stand in front of the altar and read it every time and then decide. I would just not do it. It's not worth the time. Just click the monster rewards. Click the monster rewards. That's always fine. You will never brick your map, and then clear all the essences after you are juiced up with shrines. One more thing. Yep, corrupt essences with at least 3 king plus valuable. I usually just don't look at what's going on there. If there's a bunch of essences or shrieking essences on it, I just punt a corrupt on it. Some modifications, you can definitely run something else than essences. I think the market is overall getting a bit flooded right now. So what you can do, or what you could do, is you can look at this tree and see if you can optimize it somewhere else. These essences are really not anywhere where we can scale out of it. So you can run something else. You could completely remove this, and then if you have stacked up enough Einhars, for example, I think Einhar overall is a pretty good idea because the beasts are gonna be pretty expensive in a week or two. So if you want to modify it, I would say get rid of essence. I think the market is pretty flooded right now. I would not replace shrines, so especially not for my character. Cannot suggest, but you can basically replace it with anything else that you think is worth your time. Alva is pretty good. I personally don't like to run Syndicate, but it can also be very profitable, especially if you sell them on TFT. And getting Delph nodes, I also don't see much of a problem. The main problem is with all the nodes that are on the right side of the tree, because we are mainly focused here on the left side, and we do, I guess you could go from this side for 7th gate. But the way the tree is at the moment, we prefer anything that is on the left side. And yeah, also check PoE Ninja. Check PoE Ninja. What is the most valuable stuff that you can do? Legion is also always good, but I really hate Legion, and Legion is not good on Crimsons. Like, not at all. If you want to run another map, you can definitely do it as well. I personally think Shrines are really good because the density is getting really high on Crimsons, and it is pretty easy to clear. So sustain, you always want to, I think what you want to do, or what the way to go is, what I'm doing is I buy full taps of scarabs from TFT. I don't really give too much shits what I throw in there as rusted. Some are 2C, most of them are 1C. If you are really picky and you want to use your brain power, go ahead and only use the 1C ones and sell the other ones. Whatever you want to do, I say only use rusted and sell the others for bulk, which will also make you money if you get good if you get good deals on TFT for full decks. The scarabs are full taps, go for it. You gotta buy sextants. I don't think there's any way you can really sustain them completely, because you're gonna be rolling a lot, and maps are sustainable. Like barely, but it is sustainable. I have not bought a single map, and as you can see here, no, actually here, I used 40 Crimson Temples out of the loot that I got, and I could fully sustain from like I started with 10 maps. All right. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the strategy, or for the strategy overview. So let's go ahead and let's check what I actually looted. I mean, you already saw the loot tab in-game. It looks like this. Let's have a look at PoE stack. I was looking in PoE stack. It looks something like this. Obviously, this is looking like a shit ton because we dropped an Apothecary. If we are getting rid of the Apothecary here, it is 13 divines, which seems pretty decent, I would say. It's not like the most insane thing, but it is okay loot, right? It is roughly what you can see here. We will go through all of this, but it would be roughly 6 to 7 divines per hour. Let's take a quick look here, what I calculated and what we overall did. Also, like mentioning this, let's get back here. Also mentioning this is all very sellable, right? I made sure that there is not really much bullshit in here that you can't sell. Everything is very sellable and very liquid. And I would also highly suggest, if you get all your essences, most of this is essences, right? Some compasses which can easily be sold. Maybe you might have a problem with some of these cards, but that's pretty much it. And okay, 10 Cs and scouting reports, right? But overall, pretty liquid loot. And I mean, yeah, with the Apothecary, but this is highly out of proportion. I made 2 calculations, one without and one with, and then try to estimate an average. But let's actually look at how I did this and what we are looking for here. Wait a sec, I need to rearrange this. Everything's seeable here. Looks like it's a little bit. Alright, it's a little bit bigger. So I added 40 crimsons to the loot table. So first of all, let's first of all look at the costs. It's around 650 C altogether. Maps are 5 C each, sextants are 4 C per map. And this is a big mistake actually that I did. If you get the node enduring, what is called enduring influence. If you get enduring influence on your atlas tree, you will definitely have way less cost, right? 33% less, because you get 1 more sextant use. So it is probably way better. I mean, I still have 7 points left. Obviously, fill out your whole atlas tree first. That's the most efficient thing to do. I did not really do that. And you will also be able to sell all your compasses for more then, right? So scarabs, 3 C per map. You will save 15 C with a scarab node, right? Which is called subtle manipulation. Which you can definitely get, but the thing is, enduring influence is most likely better. you will save way more money with this than you save for scarabs, and the reason is we are only using the cheap scarabs. So if you have any, or if you have the choice between, or not the choice, if you have to choose between between enduring influence and subtle manipulation, let me show you quickly again on the atlas tree here. So, whoops. Subtle manipulation is over here, right? And I spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points to get here. And I could rather unallocate this and get enduring influence. And this is probably what I'm gonna do as well, because this node is definitely better from what you can see with this strategy than this node. Because we are only, because we are only using rusted scarabs anyways. So yeah, get enduring influence instead. It's way better. We are saving 15 C. I did not even put this into the calculation now because it's so minor. Chisels 50 C per map, and then overall we are at a net minus 650 C. That being said, we have to reduce, right? Or we're adding back in on the loot, we're adding back in 40 crimsons because we took this off the loot table because I was self-sustaining it. Now this is what I basically found, roughly 40 crimsons, which is 200 C. Then with the apothecaries included, we were at around 71.6 divine, excluded 14.4, and the net profit was 67 and 10 divines without the apothecary. I calculated the divines per hour, which is obviously pretty absurd if you calculate with the apothecary in the loot table, and without we are at 0.2. This makes roughly, so the average map timer, I did a couple of runs. The fastest run, or the fastest runs, were around 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but it obviously depends a lot on your character, how fast you are. I needed between 2 minutes, 20 seconds and 3 minutes on average. I only calculated for like the quickest one, right? You can obviously use an average here, but if we calculate with 2 minutes 20, it would be 2 minutes 20 would be 25 maps per hour, 25.7. So 5.4 divine per hour. This is without an apothecary. With apothecary, these numbers are getting a bit ridiculous. But yeah, also made a little assumption from what I know, how much will usually drop and how my other strategies worked in the past. I think it is realistic to assume that, I think this is, if we calculate with 10 times, it is probably the best you can do, but I think it's more like 6 to 7 times as many maps that you need per apothecary. So I think you can add like 33% to this. So the realistic number really is in the long run is 33% more. So 6 to 7 divines per hour will this strategy give in the long run. However, I would really just, for your sanity, really calculate with this. Try to calculate with this and do not hope for an apothecary drop, because the standard deviation can be really, really high, right? Even if you find an apothecary on average every 500 maps, which I think is a realistic number, every 400 to 500 maps, that does not mean that you have to find it every 500 maps, right? You can have a stretch of 1,000, 2,000 maps where you don't find a single card easily. Okay, so do not count on this. Of course, it can also go the other direction and you find 2 apothecaries within 100 maps. But however, I would say count with this, which is around 5.4 divines per hour or 4.2 divines per hour, and yeah, maybe add like 10% to this. So I think, yeah, 6 divines per hour is a reasonable number to look for. And then if you drop apothecaries on top, that's pretty cool, but really not needed. I think the strategy is fine as it is. It is not the best strategy for loot. Next thing I will do, since I'm a rich fuck now, I will test out strategies with way higher investment, right? And one thing that came to mind is there is this new this node for rarity. Oh yeah, before we talk about this, let's go for the pros and cons that I just wrote them down quickly. It's very fast. It's a no-brainer strat, right? Which also might be a downside. Very liquid drops. I don't think there's much that you can't sell, and you need very little trading and preparation, which is super good. I like these kind of strats. I don't like to sit in my hideout and trade for 15 hours before I can start a map. Even though I did that a couple leagues ago. And cons, it can be very repetitive. There's really nothing. There's not too much that you have to think about if you don't like that. Then don't run the strat, and it's also not very mechanically. I guess sometimes if you fight against tough essence monsters, but it's not like a boss fight, right? Where you have at least some cool mechanics or anything, if you like that. And we don't utilize the new league mechanic. I think there's ways to utilize it, and I think other people are talking about this as well, how good it is. I think it can be really good, but I would not do it in the strat, as I said before. And it is also, because of that, it's not really suited for you if you don't have all the Wildwood Ascendancy points yet, simply because you gotta go in there and get it, right? And I would not suggest doing it while you do the strat. Alright, anyways, let's take a quick look at what I want to do in the future and for the next videos. So there is this node, where is it? This rarity node, right? And I think modifies the quantity of items found in your map. Instead, apply to rarity of items found in your map at 300% of the value. I think this is new. Maybe it's not new and I'm coping, but I want to find out, I want to try out a complete rarity finder and see if we can drop something really good. I don't know what the best ways are to run this kind of strategy. If you know anything specific, yeah, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a sub, and tell me about your ideas how you could run this. I think my character is pretty okay. I'm not reliant too much on any of these uniques, so I can exchange everything for a rarity item, right? I can basically pretty much exchange everything for something that gives rarity, except from the boots. So I really want to give it a try and try to find something that we can make that has a lot of rarity in it. Otherwise, I do have some cool ideas. I might change to a bow build because I always wanted to do a tri-stat stacker, something that I saw Captain Lance doing. And I think with the new change or the new tinctures that all damage can poison, I think we can build something really, really, really strong with the tri-stat stacker. And the new ring is also really good because you can basically get, I think it's more than 40 all attributes, and there's also rarity on that ring, right? But we can get 40 all attributes on these rings. Anyways, that's it for the video and for the strategy. I hope I did not forget anything. And yeah, see you in the next video. Probably a build upgrade then. Alright, goodbye.